Hey everyone, Austin here again with another Let's Play video. Today it's going to be Splatterhouse 3 for the Sega Genesis. Now this is actually a Let's Play I've previously done in the past, or a game I've previously Let's Played in the past. It's the proper way to say it. But this is a re-record. This is one of those games where I've wanted to revisit it because I've got much better hardware now. So we're going through RGB, we've got 60 frames a second. It should look nice and crisp for you guys out there in YouTube land. However, I also got some requests because as of recording this, it's October 2016, and I am doing horror-themed Let's Plays all this month. I did Splatterhouses 1 and 2, as well as Wampaku Graffiti. If you're watching this upload right as it hits, Wampaku Graffiti has actually not posted yet, but it will be published on sometime next week, I believe. But it is ready to go, and you guys will see it. So I've covered the Splatterhouse games, and it's only kind of natural that I do Splatterhouse 3 as well. Even though I've already done it, again, there should be some enhancements to the video quality to make it worth re-recording. Funny enough, I also did the Japanese version the first time I Let's Played this, so we're actually on the North American release now. So there's a couple of minor differences between the versions, and I'll sort of talk about that a little bit as we play the game. So Splatterhouse 3 is a bit of the black sheep of the family. Believe it or not, it was actually the first Splatterhouse game I ever played. It was my first experience with Splatterhouse, and back in the day, it really impressed me. I really like the digitized graphics. It really has this like creepy vibe going on. More so, I feel, than the other Splatterhouse games. At least in certain parts, like that intro was always so cool to me. Now, part of the game, I think, just kind of falls flat on its face after a certain point. I think maybe after the second level, maybe after the third level, the game just becomes kind of goofy with its story and less horror movie-like and more so just kind of like meh, boring story-like. I don't even know how to explain it, but in the first couple of levels, it's actually a genuinely creepy experience by 16-bit standards anyway. There were very few 16-bit games back in the day, even 8-bit games, that were actually legitimately creepy. But Splatterhouse 3 actually managed to hit the nail on the head at certain points in the game. One of the reasons, though, it's really considered to be the black sheep of the family is that it's no longer just a side-scrolling, I don't even know what you call them, a Kung Fu Master clone, an Altered Beast clone, I have no idea. A walk-in beat-em-up, a walk-in punch-em-up, I have no idea. Just a side-scrolling platformer. Splatterhouse 3 is a beat-em-up. So think like Final Fight or Streets of Rage 2 or things like that. But what's also interesting about Splatterhouse 3 is it's kind of non-linear in nature in terms of the level-to-level structure. So you go from level to level, but each level is its own big floor with, branching pathways and so forth. And so this mask in the beginning is actually explaining to you, press start, check your map, try to find the fastest route possible. And I'll sort of explain that once we get into the game. It's also explaining power stones. Man, this is actually like an old form of a tutorial, now that I think about it. You don't really see these that often in games from this time period. Not exhibited in this kind of manner where it's just right in your face. This is a tutorial, basically. So let's go ahead and just skip through that and get right into the game. So, as usual, guys, I make no guarantees about actually completing this game. I actually did not plan on doing Splatterhouse 3 this month. And so as such, I haven't actually practiced it. I did play it on stream about a month ago, immediately after beating Splatterhouse 2. And I remember getting to the second to final boss and dying. So we'll see if we can beat the game. If not, again, I make no guarantees. You guys can still at least experience most of the game and see what it's all about. So, like I said, Splatterhouse 3 is a beat-em-up, and these are the power orbs that we were talking about in the beginning. So, by pressing start after you've cleared out a room, you can bring up your map screen. Now, the map screen is actually really important because it also acts as your pause function. Notice that your timer in the top left-hand portion of the screen actually stops. And that's really important. Now, this game has a sort of branching story elements. Depending on how you perform, how much time you have left, that actually affects the outcome of the story. So the goal to get the best ending is to try to get to the X on the map and defeat the boss before the timer hits 0. If the timer hits 0, when you do that, you get the negative outcome on that level, and the story progresses in a negative way. Pretty much like your family dies, and, you know, it tells you that. And, so we've got the map screen up. We want to try to figure out the best route to get through the map. What I want to do is try to go for those yellow doors on the right-hand side of the screen. What that'll do is actually teleport me to a different part of the map. So one of the tricks to getting through the maps really quickly, or within the time limit, is to try to go through those teleporting doors. Those rooms with the yellow doors will also oftentimes have some special items. So I believe the one in the top right actually has, I think it has an extra life. I guess we'll find out. So let's go through this right-hand door, and I'll just keep talking about the game. So you know, you've got basic attacks in this game. It's not a very deep beat-em-up engine at all, unfortunately. Not that many beat-em-ups were deep from this time period, or ever for that matter. You basically have punch with the B button. You've got jump with the C button, and like in typical beat-em-up fashion, you can jump kick. A lot of your attacks are pretty weak in this game. Your jump kicking is pretty weak. And if you press A, you can actually activate your power orbs, which I don't want to do just yet, because I've got so many. Well, I might as well just do it so I can show you. So you turn into sort of like, I don't even know what you call it. We'll call it beast mode for the sake of this video. And your character, Rick, just turns into a hulking badass. You can actually get up close to enemies and sort of like suplex them, duplex them. I don't even know what the move's called. Jesus, I'm so uneducated when it comes to this stuff. And so basically what you can do is you can... Oh, I ran out already. You can grab onto the enemies and press up and jump. Is it up and jump? Or is it up and attack? I don't remember. To do the suplex attack. And it's actually the most powerful attack in the game. And so later on in the game, not so much in the first level, later on in the game as enemies start taking more damage, you know, their health bars basically extend, the suplex becomes an extremely vital maneuver. So we're going to skip that teleporting door on the right. I had the option to go through that door on the right, which on the map showed a yellow door, which again is the teleporting doors. And we're going to skip that one. We're going to go for the one at the top right. So if you're trying to get through this game with you know, enough time left over, a lot of times you want to use the power orbs, and because you'll just mow through the enemies really quickly. You know, powered up Rick is really powerful. Let's see if we can grab this guy just like that. One hit kill. Now, on later levels, it's not a one-hit kill, but on the very first level, you can do that attack, and it's just insanely powerful. Now, one of the downsides to Splatterhouse 3 is that a lot of the enemies you've seen already in this first level, you're going to see them a lot throughout the course of the rest of the game, unfortunately. Splatterhouse 3 has a lot of repeating enemies. Those big guys with the huge mouths that I just killed, and these guys right here. You just see palette-swapped versions of them throughout the course of the game. They're just more powerful. And a little more aggressive, but it's basically the same stuff throughout the entire game. It's one of the big downsides of Splatterhouse 3 is there's a lot of potential to have just lots of variety, and unfortunately they did not do that. So again, on the map, you've got a yellow door. Let's just go down through that. So basically, your wife is in danger in this first level, and if you get to the boss, when the timer reaches 0, she basically gets killed by whatever monster is at the end. And again, that door actually threw us all the way across the map. Let's go ahead and just keep going up, get towards that X, try to get the try to get there in time. I want to wait and pick these up until I've transformed, because every time you transform back, you lose all of your, you know, your power meter. I'm gonna go ahead and just keep using it just for time's sake. So that attack where you fly off the screen and come back is just insanely powerful. And it's easily the best attack in the game. Now there is one more attack. By pressing back, forward, and kick, you can do this roundhouse kick. And one of the big differences between this version and the Japanese version is in the Japanese version, it might be done differently, but you also only kick once in the Japanese version. And this one, you literally just keep spinning around and around and around. So it's a very good, safe attack. Enemies will just run right into you as you're doing it. And so we're pretty much at the boss now. Unfortunately, I have no power orbs. Oh, no, I do. I did pick up one. I don't know if we're going to be able to kill this guy in 1 minute. But that's some blood and guts in the background. Splatterhouse 3 does have some gore here and there. Unfortunately, the gore is sort of sparse compared to other versions of the game. This part is pretty graphic, which is kind of awesome. You can see like a decapitated head and naked bodies. I don't know where all these bodies came from, to be honest with you. You're technically, this is your mansion. This is your house, supposedly, as the story goes. So I have no idea where all those bodies came from. But I do like, you know, this boss in particular with, you know, the blood and guts, the gore in the background. It's really cool. It's one of the things that people really enjoy about the Splatterhouse series is the gore. You know, it's as close as we got to a horror movie in video game form back in the 16-bit generation. Not many 16-bit games had horror-style gore. You had really over-the-top stuff like the Mortal Kombats, but you didn't have really anything that was blatantly like, you know, intense horror movies at the time. So we actually got the, you know, the good sequence. So you say, you know, your wife is okay for now, but apparently there's a boar worm inside of her, which, there, he just explained it. The boar worms are actually enemies I believe you fought. Like, I think they're actually the worms from the, you know, the previous two Splatterhouse games. Unfortunately, this is where they start mentioning the evil one, and it's just like, okay, that sounds threatening, I guess. Not really. Rick, filled with rage, ascends to the second floor. So now the goal is to get to this boss in time and defeat it, which will basically remove the boar worm from your wife. And one of the other things that kind of is a little bit lame about Splatterhouse is the setting itself. You are in your own mansion, supposedly, your own house. And as such, the environments really aren't that interesting to look at. It's just, we're on a balcony right now. There's not really much on this balcony, unfortunately. You know, you don't have, like, what you do in some of the other Splatterhouse games with just lots of creepy stuff. And it's just very bland stuff. Like, oh, well, that looks like my balcony at home. And that's not very scary. Splatterhouse 3 does have some creepy moments. Like, there's this one scene in the very first level that we just played that unfortunately I wasn't able to show off. But you walk by this picture. It just looks like a, you know, an innocent picture, like painting on the wall. And these, like, I don't even know how to explain it. Basically, like, these claws appear out of nowhere and just put these major, like, scratches in the painting. And it starts bleeding. And it's just, It's really loud too, so it catches you off guard. It's almost kind of like a jump scare sort of thing. And Splatterhouse 3 does have a couple of segments like that throughout the course of the game. So, while it's best to try to get to the end of the levels as fast as possible, you're not going to experience the entire game by doing that. So one of the fun things about Splatterhouse 3 is just intentionally getting the bad ending sometimes. And, exploring every level to its fullest, you know, seeing what all the rooms offer, you know, experiencing some of those jump scares that are in the game. Unfortunately, if you play Splatterhouse 3 the proper way, you don't experience a lot of that really cool stuff that the game actually does offer. When I first played this game back in the day, that painting scratch thing scare really caught me off guard because I had the volume super loud. It was insanely loud, and it literally scared me. Like, it was, and that doesn't really happen often at all with video games for me. It was a very memorable moment for me that I think would be memorable for a lot of other people. And something to keep in mind in this game, you can get wrecked very quickly if you let your guard down. So, I'm not playing very well right now. See, a lot of the backgrounds just aren't very scary in this game at all. We've got lots of clocks in the background, but they're not even moving. It's just kind of like, okay. They're not making any creepy sounds. It's just a lot of very basic stuff in this game. You go through kitchens, and there's nothing out of the ordinary in said kitchen. It's just, it's very mundane. Wanpaku Graffiti, on the other hand, takes ordinary scenarios and makes them unordinary. Even the first couple Splatterhouse games did the same thing. Like in Splatterhouse 2, you go to like a work shed, and the chainsaw comes alive basically, and is coming after you, and is extremely dangerous. In Splatterhouse, oh come on, dude! In Splatterhouse 1, there's a room where like all the furniture comes alive basically, and it's a pretty creepy room. The whole thing's bouncing up and down, and you know, it feels like a very violent section in the game. And Splatterhouse 3 doesn't really have any of that, unfortunately. Just look at how much damage these guys do. So what I should do is really just abuse this attack. And I don't like abusing this attack. It's not as fun, but I really don't want to lose my lives. Yeah, I never actually die this much when I get this, you know, when I play this game. Again, like I said, guys, I'm not really practiced on this one. I wasn't really planning on doing this Let's Play. I'm just kind of like cranking it out. Which is probably a bad idea, because this month of October 2016 is actually my most packed month of Let's Plays, I think, ever. Not just Let's Plays, but videos in general. I think I've, like, especially with this one, I think it's going to be something like 15 or 16 videos, which is just, that's a lot of videos. That's a lot of videos, guys. I've got a full-time job, I like to stream, I've got some other hobbies as well, so doing 15 or 16 videos this month is just really crazy. Really, really busy. So, I apologize if I'm not the most coherent and cohesive in this Let's Play, but I hope you guys understand the situation I find myself in right now. I actually have to go to work tonight, too. I didn't sleep that much today, so I'm also a little worn out in that regard. So you can actually see the worms kind of like going through her brain, I guess. It squirms bloated in her skull. Oh shit, I ran out of time. Pardon my French. Now your wife is dead. Wait. What? I still have some time. So do you have to get to the end with even more time than 0? Maybe you do. So this alternate form per Rick is just insanely powerful, and it just allows you to get through some of these rooms a lot faster. You still have to be really careful though. These guys, these enemies have major priority over you, hit priority over you. And even when you're in your alternate form, they can still wreck you badly. So there are the boar worms. They look a lot like the worms from the first couple of Splatterhouse games. Unfortunately, we got to this boss without having our power meter at all. Now, I do like the some of the boss rooms in this game. Unfortunately, the game doesn't have that many boss rooms, and some of them are just plain. Like, you get to the evil one, and it's just... it's nothing special. It's just very generic stuff. But this has, like, it's got beating hearts in the background, blood on the floor. It really fits the Splatterhouse theme really well, actually. We might end up dying. Which is kind of sad that I'm almost about to get a game over or something like that. It kind of makes me just want to do the whole Let's Play over again, but I'm probably not going to. Wow! Okay, that's great. This boss is really annoying, by the way. So it basically skirts across the floor. You have to jump over it. And it's one of those bosses you really want to have some of your, you know, like your power meter going. Well, thanks, Captain Obvious. So the mask basically tells you that you didn't make it in time. So now your son's in danger. So you have a wife, you have a kid. And stage 3 is all about your kid. Alright, so let's see if we can do this level without dying, because I think if I get a game over, I can continue, but it'll send us all the way back to the beginning. Alright, so just go left. One of the things about this game is I really wish there was a deeper combat system. This game just had so much potential. Like, it's graphically, aside from the bland backgrounds, it does look good. It is a good-looking Sega Genesis game. This was, what, I think 1993 when it came out? So, the Genesis still had a few more, years left in its life. And, for when it came out, it looks great. But I really wish the combat system was deeper. I wish there was more to the combat. I'm literally just pressing punch over and over again. And I know that was standard for some beat-em-ups, but what set great beat-em-ups apart from the just kind of meh ones was slightly deeper combat. Like Streets of Rage 2, great example, had so many different moves you can use. yeah, you were going to use certain moves over others for the majority of the game. But you had backhands, you could hold down the kick button and do a quick charge kick attack. There's just more stuff to do. Then Streets of Rage 2 had actual special moves, like you can do the, a fireball motion, quarter circle forward motion, like you would in a fighting game, to do special attacks. It was really cool. And they could have implemented something like that in this game to make it more interesting. I understand the Splatterhouse games have always been relatively basic, but there's just that basic nature of the first two Splatterhouses, even Wanpaku Graffiti, I guess you could say the first three Splatterhouses, it worked when you couldn't move up and down. But now that you've got the Z-axis, it's just, you need to make things a little more complex. And unfortunately, this game does not do that. And so it gets repetitive really quickly. It also doesn't help that a lot of the enemies are just very samey. They just walk up to you, they stick their pointy finger out and take away half your health. And it kind of sucks, but and again, this background, not terribly creepy. They've got some chairs that have some holes in them. Looks like their chairs need some work. That's so scary. If you go over to that door, oh no, part of the door looks like it's broken. Man, we need to renovate this place. It's just not, it's not scary, unfortunately. Your map is scarier than the actual room you're in. Look at those bloodied edges, and that X looks like it's drawn with blood. That's kind of cool. This room's a little more creative with the background, and it's got some actual, lighting effects, which is cool. Alright, good. Got an extra life. I do like the boss of this level, though. It kind of just catches you off guard, and you guys will see what I mean once we get to it. Some of you already know what it is. I'm sure some of you guys watching have already played this game before, or watched my Let's Play from a few years back. So, just lots of palette swapping going on here, guys. We've already fought these guys in 3 different levels. First, the first boss. Second, we fought them in the second level. And now we're fighting them again. It's the exact same thing. Like I said, just tons of palette swapped guys in this game. So, mega repetitive. So this is why, like, I kind of mentioned earlier on in the Let's Play that Splatterhouse 3 just sort of falls flat on its face after a certain point in the game. And really, I think by the time you get to the 3rd level, you've seen just about all there is to see in the game. And there's not much else that's actually better than what you saw in the first couple of levels. So, like, the first level especially, once you get to the boss, you see all the decapitated heads and bodies, on the floor. You're like, wow, this is really cool. This is Splatterhouse. And then it just sort of goes downhill from there, unfortunately. And then the next level is just not really any better either. I think it's... yeah, it's just not really interesting either. I think you go to, like, the basement. It's more like a sewer sort of place. It's, again, not very interesting, visually speaking. And the gameplay just... is the same. It's just super repetitive. You're still fighting the same types of enemies. There aren't really any special patterns to learn. So whereas in, like, Streets of Rage, you know, enemies can be very patternistic. They might have, like, you'll have one guy that juggles knives, and he'll throw said knives at you. You'll have some martial arts dude that dances around the screen, and you don't really have that much in this game. Like, these little premature birthed bird things, they'll slide on the ground. That's about as interesting as the enemy design gets in this game, unfortunately. I do think the first boss is pretty cool. How it's got this hand that just comes out of its mouth after you've knocked its head off. That's a pretty cool design, and if they kept going with that trend throughout the course of the game, I think it would have been pretty awesome, but they did not, unfortunately. Makes me wonder how much time they put into developing this game. Or if it's one of those games where they had more in mind for it, and they just rushed it out to meet like a holiday deadline or something like that, which is unfortunately way too common in the video game industry, still today. It was back then, it still is now, and it's a bit of a shame. So there's so many games out there that don't meet the original potential that even the developers originally were going for. So here's our third boss. Unfortunately, we do have a life, so we should hopefully be able to do this. So the first time I got to this boss back in the day, I was like, what the hell? And then the second part happened, and I was like, oh, I see. That's kind of cool, actually. There we go. Oh, okay. Dude, come on! See, I just wasted my power meter. What I wanted to do is grab the guy and do the suplex attack, which would do some major, major damage. And that's it. Alright, stage 4. And this is where the story gets really goofy too. Your son is the key to the Dark Stone. And it's just like, oh great. One of these stories I've seen in so many horror movies, like really cheesy horror movies, and the plot line is never scary, ever. Alright, so we're gonna just... Apparently your child has psychic powers, too. In the first Splatterhouse, you and your wife are apparently parapsychologists. You know, or... Is that what they call it? You're basically paranormal investigators or something. No one was psychic. You go to the mansion. There's apparently some crazy stuff happening there. Your wife gets kidnapped. The mask finds you, and the mask is what gives you the powers in the first Splatterhouse. And in the second Splatterhouse, you weren't able to save your wife in the first game. You think she's dead, but then the mask calls you back to the house, as the very beginning of the Splatterhouse 2 tells you. And it continues from there. But now apparently your son is psychic. Just because. Psychic. So now we're in the basement, which looks more like a sewer than an actual basement. And so it just kind of continues the boring level design. Can I go to the right? I think the door is actually closed. No, so we have to loop around, unfortunately. You know, like I said, I really do like how, you know, you can just kind of go where you want in these levels. When the moon is covered by the black cloud, I will free the dark stone and release its stone. Who cares? Who cares? I don't. You guys can probably kind of tell, like, you know, the parts I like about Splatterhouse 3, and, or let me go back a second. You can probably tell the point when I start not enjoying this game. And look, this guy was on the first level. And we gotta fight him again. And he's really annoying. Again, I could just be using this attack the whole game, but I don't want to. It's not fun. It's just not fun. That's it. Really, your spin kick attack is the key to success in this game. There might be a hidden item here. Maybe down here. Yep. Got some health. So if you see rooms like this where you've got layers of enemies or objects in the background that you can just go behind, a lot of times there's a hidden item there. So this is our new enemy for this level, and they're not terribly difficult either. It's just kind of the same basic stuff as you saw for other parts of the game. Just don't get hit by them, because they do a ton of damage, just like every other enemy in the game. And just roundhouse kick them if you want. Oh, they jump. So threatening. Alright, where are we? I kind of want to see what that door on the right is. Let's just go ahead and start experimenting, because, you know, we're obviously not going to get the good ending. Our wife is already dead. And I think... I don't even know if getting to the boss in time on the third level is even important, because the storyline with your kid is still there. Like, your kid gets kidnapped, basically. So I don't even know if it really matters if you get to the end on the third level. Oh, hey, look at that. Splatterhouse 3 could have used more weapons. Oh, nice. It could have used better weapons, too. Like, this is cool. This should have been on the first level, where you're decapitating heads. That's kind of awesome, actually. And this is actually the first time I've ever seen this weapon. There's not nearly enough weapons in this game. They should have definitely scattered more over the course of the playfield. But then those assholes come along and take your weapons away if you get hit, which is really, really annoying. Alright, so is there a second door here? There is. Alright, so we need to go up and around. Alright, and we should be able to go through this door. And where did that take us? Well... that really wasn't any good. I mean, that just... it would have been faster for me to just go to this room on my own than take that teleporter. Alright, so what I'm going to do is go up to that other yellow door and see where that takes me. Again, like I said, I don't really care about getting the good outcome on this level. And there goes my good weapon. I was just starting to have fun, and they had to take it away from me. Come on. Maybe we'll get an extra life in one of these rooms. Alright, sorry, you're dumb. I'm gonna skip right through you. I just don't really care about the story. Sorry, you can't pull up the map. Alright, we're gonna switch over. We're gonna go ahead and use our power. A good rule of thumb in this game is if you see power orbs in the room, might as well use them. Might as well use the power meter that you've got. Well, never mind. I just messed up that strategy. So, use the power meter you've got, but don't collect the orbs that are in the room. Because when you're done killing the enemies, you lose your entire power meter. You change back to normal, all your power goes away, and then you can pick up the orbs afterwards to replenish it. So let's go to the top here, see what this room's like. And this is really some basement. I wouldn't want to live in this mansion if this was my basement. I got the extra life right as I died. That's pathetic, actually. And, okay, teleported us down there. Okay. Yeah, so the only way to get to the extra life was by going through that teleporting room. Because you can't go through that door that I just came out of. These guys here, they're featured a couple times throughout the course of the game. They don't really hurt you that much. You do just a tiny bit of damage. The trick is to not jump. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do that strategy. Just pick these guys up. Do tons of damage. No, okay, no, that worked out. And we've got, you know, some power meter again, so, you know, we plowed through that room relatively quickly. Oh yeah, these guys kind of suck, actually. Alright, I'm switching back over. And just like everything else in this game, these guys do a ton of damage. So this is actually a cool enemy design. These guys are actually kind of creepy when you first see them. And I wish there was more like that in this game. And that should be it. Yep. Alright, so we're probably going to end up getting the game over. We'll see. Maybe we can magically get another extra life before the boss. I don't think there's going to be another one. And we've got... I'm going to try this room real quick just to see what's in it. These small rooms oftentimes have power-ups and so forth. Of course, this room doesn't, but whatever. And let's just utilize the roundhouse kick over and over. Just abuse it. Alright, nothing there. Just go right back. And I think these enemies might come back. Yeah, oh geez, there's new enemies. Roundhouse it up. Got an extra life. Good. I just don't want to have to do this level over again if we die at the boss. Alright, boss time. So, best move in the game, just do the suplex. Now, this guy's second form is pretty annoying. You gotta watch out for him, he just lunges right at you. Almost kind of like the third boss, but in a much bigger manner. And that's it. So this background here is actually very similar to the second to last level in the original Splatterhouse. So there are some throwbacks to the old Splatterhouse games. Like in one of the levels here, you actually see like a deer head mounted to the wall. Granted, it doesn't do anything, and it's not moving like it does in the other Splatterhouse games, unfortunately. That would have been a really cool throwback, you know. And in the original Splatterhouses, the whole deer heads on the wall actually doing something was kind of like a throwback to like Evil Dead 2. So Splatterhouse 3 misses the mark in a lot of regards. You know, even compared to the Splatterhouses that came before it. But there are still some throwbacks. Like you've got the Boar Worm boss as boss number 2. You've got, you know, that sort of bubble guy we just fought as that stage 4 boss. So there are some nods to the first couple Splatterhouse games. So I mentioned in my my Splatterhouse 2 Let's Play how one of like the shrine-ish one of the levels that looks like a shrine. This level's kind of like a throwback to that, basically. So I think it's basically the second to last level in Splatterhouse 2 that I'm talking about. Was it the second to last level, or was it the third to last? I don't remember. I get those levels mixed up sometimes. But like I said, there are some elements that are carried over from the previous games, but there's just not as many of them as you would expect. Like, I don't think there's a single shotgun in this entire game, which is definitely odd. And on some of these enemies, it seems your jump kick is pretty much useless, and I tried doing the roundhouse, but I messed up. You'll notice the hitbox for your roundhouse is really big, too. Can we go to the left? Nope, we cannot go to the left. Alright, well, we're gonna go up then. Dude, come on! I keep trying to do the freaking roundhouse and he just keeps punching instead. The timing's a little weird sometimes. I should be doing better crowd control of these enemies. Like, if I actually get a hold of them and can throw them... You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and just kill myself. I'm going to start over. It doesn't really matter at this point. I mean, we're an hour in. I'm either going to give up or just start over on this level. We might as well just get a game over while we're still at the very beginning of the stage, because this level's a little bit longer than the other ones. Are you going to hit me? Jeez, man. Dude's just, like, jumping over me over and over. I'm pretty sure you get continues in this game. Yeah. And you also get passwords. So, yeah, and we were like 2 rooms in. It was just easier to restart than it was to go through the whole thing, get a game over, and then have to do it all over again. So in games that have continues, unless you're trying to, you know, explicitly go for a 1-credit clear, that's actually a strategy you can do in some of these old games. Not just these old games, but games that have continues, period. When I play games, I typically go for 1-credit clears. I like being able to beat a game without continuing. But if I know that I can't beat a game without continuing, and I just sort of have to tank my way through the game, then doing what I just did is a good way to save some time. Not that it mattered that much, we just lost a life already. These enemies do a ton of damage in this game, and like I said, they just have major hit priority over you. And that's very common in beat-em-ups. It's not really just a Splatterhouse 3 thing, but it's really apparent in Splatterhouse 3. I think a big part of it is just how few frames of animation there are for you and your enemies. Like, I think there's literally, like, 3 frames of animation for Rick. There's actually more animation on Rick than there is on the enemies. And it's still not many punching frames of animation on Rick, unfortunately. So with the enemies, they're either there... I don't even know how to explain it. They're either not attacking or they're fully attacking. Like if guys will poke you, like their arm is either fully extended or not extended at all. So you have pretty much like no reaction time to them. There are no frames of animation. Like, look at that. Oh, maybe he's got 2 frames of animation. So they attack very, very, very quickly in this game. And the game can be a bit of a pain because of that. Alright, so I do want to try to see what's through that yellow door. I want to see where it takes me. Really, man? I should be using my power-up orbs. Yeah, I mean... crap. Alright, you know what? Just kill me again. I'm gonna stop screwing around after this guy kills me. I'm gonna get another game over. I don't care. I'm sure you guys out there care, but this has been a pretty crappy Let's Play as is. I wasn't really in the mood to do this, and I'm still gonna upload it anyway. I mean... we're being real, guys. We're being real. God, I need to take this freaking jacket off, too. I'm hot as hell. I went out and got some food before doing this Let's Play. And it's a little chilly outside, so I left my jacket on this entire time, and it's kind of warm in this room. Alright. We're gonna make it happen this time. We're gonna make it happen. So your jump kick is okay when you're alternate Rick. But when you're normal crappy Rick, your jump kick is, well, pretty much that. It's pretty crappy. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're just going to go up and around and go straight to the boss. We're not going to worry about all the secret rooms and whatnot. A little too far gone in this Let's Play now to really care about experimenting on the fly. Dude, 3/4 of my freaking health, man. That's just absurd. And we're dead. And this is why Splatterhouse 3 is seen as the black sheep of the family. It's kind of dumb at parts, honestly. And this is why you really have to just do the roundhouse kick over and over and over again, and it's lame. It's really stupid. God, the hitbox in your roundhouse kick is just massive. I don't think we can go to the right, but let me see. No, we can't. So on the map, you see some doors. They don't tell you what direction you can go through them. So, you know, the door that's on the map directly to the right of me, apparently I can come back to this room I'm in, but I can't go through that door in the opposite direction. So it's a little confusing. I should say a little tricky. So I'm sure that's what the developers intended. Oops, I didn't want to go through... God. I was trying to get that orb, and he just went straight through the door for me. These guys are so erratic, too. Like, that dude just jumped all the way across the screen. It's like, why did you do that? Now I have to wait for your ass to come over here. Because I can't scroll the screen back. The second he's off the screen, that's it. I have to wait. It's like the guys that made this game were like, we want to make a beat 'em up. But they forgot what made beat 'em ups good in the first place. And this was something that happened a lot in the 90s, you know, during the beat-em-up craze of the early 90s. So many games wanted to be beat-em-ups, but so many games couldn't be beat-em-ups. They were just terribly designed, not thought out well enough. And Splatterhouse 3 unfortunately kind of falls into that camp. Splatterhouse 3 also has the unfortunate trait of being a part of the Splatterhouse series. So it was a game that wasn't originally a beat 'em up. Not the kind of beat 'em up that we associate with, like, you know, Streets of Rage, Final Fight, Double Dragon, Golden Axe, things like that. Alright, let's go ahead and go through this door, see if there's another extra life or something. Yeah, so this background looks very familiar if you've played Splatterhouse 2. It's very similar to one of the later level backgrounds in Splatterhouse 2. Alright, so I'm probably going to regret this, especially after continuing. I think what's going to happen, guys, is if I have to continue again, I'm just going to go ahead and stop the Let's Play. I feel like there's no point in me continuing again. Granted, the other continues were intentional. And if... with crap like this, like, I might have to continue again, and I think I'll just give up by that point. I don't really care that much. Like, I'm really cramming in this Let's Play when I probably shouldn't be. And, I've already done Splatterhouse 3. I wanted to do it again, just to have a better, higher quality version up. But at this point, I don't really care that much. I'm not having any fun with this Let's Play. Which is kind of a trend with some of these games I've Let's Played this month for October. There's just some games I didn't really want to Let's Play. And games that haven't aged very well at all, like Ghouls and Ghosts on the Sega Master System, for instance. That was just total hell for me to play through. I did not enjoy playing that Let's Play at all. And Splatterhouse 3 is kind of in that ballpark for me right now. I'm probably going to regret uploading this video, to be honest with you, but... I'm just not really enjoying myself at this very moment in time. Let's go ahead and pick that up. Go ahead and waste our power. Because Sparky over here wants to stick me with his tail. So there's definitely some risk versus reward in this game. You're like, oh, you can get an extra life, but you'll probably lose an extra life in the process, so it's just... you might as well not even go for the extra lives, unless you're just abusing the roundhouse kick over and over. Alright, so let's see where this takes us. Why? This design is so redundant, like... you just went all the way around there just to go 2 rooms south that you could have just done manually. I mean, maybe you couldn't have gotten to this room from the top. Maybe you can only get to it from the teleporter side, but it's just a really weird level structure, in my opinion. And you get these spirit heads coming up from the ground, which is basically equivalent to the hands coming out of the floor on the previous stage. They do the exact same thing. You don't want to jump, otherwise you get knocked down. See, just like that. Just take the damage, absorb it. And hey, it's not like we haven't fought these guys on every single level in the game. Dude, come on. He's like, yo, bro, give me a high five. He smacks you to the ground in the process. Alright, guess we're gonna pick that one up too. Why not? And so you're fighting a lot of the same enemies throughout the course of the game, and they get more aggressive. They get harder. And it was very common back in the day to have palette swapped enemies, but usually you had new enemies introduced throughout the course of the game as well that did things different enough from the original cast of enemies. Splatterhouse 3, unfortunately, does not do that. And we're dead again. You guys can tell I'm absolutely thrilled right now. I'm sure. Alright, so I'm just gonna sit back and do this. Or just, you know, get killed. Splatterhouse 3, why do you suck? Why have you not aged well? Why are you ruining my childhood, Splatterhouse 3? I used to love this game so much back in the day, and now I just can't stand it. After a certain point, like I said, I think the first couple levels are fine, and then the game is just like, oh, we're gonna stop caring. And, 'cause nobody wants to care. Really like to get another suplex attack on him because it just does so much damage. Oh, come on. Some BS boss design. Alright, screw Splatterhouse 3. This game sucks balls. Don't ever play it. I'm done. I am seriously done. Stupid freaking game. No, screw you, Jennifer. You're dead anyway. Nobody cares about you. Splatterhouse. 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 What a Let's Play, guys. Alright, well, I'm gonna wrap things up here. As you can see, I'm totally thrilled about this game right now. It's one of those Let's Plays where I started off in a somewhat okay mood. I wasn't in the best mood in my mind, but it was a somewhat okay mood, and then just as the Let's Play progressed, I just became more and more frustrated with the game. And games like this, a lot of it is also just your mental state. Are you awake? Are you actually interested in playing the game you're playing? Are you invested or vested in what you're doing? Are you just... are you interested? Are you having fun? Are you sucked into the experience? And it's like... all that has an effect on how you feel as you progress through a game like this. And pretty much I started off okay in the beginning of the Let's Play and just went slowly downhill as the game progressed. And so I'm not gonna go outright and say Splatterhouse 3 is a bad or terrible game or anything like that, but I think you have to be in a very specific mindset to play this game and really, really enjoy it. I know there's going to be people out there, based on a lot of the comments I've seen on previous Let's Plays, where I don't like the experience I had in the Let's Play, but people are going to be like, oh, well, I love this game. Oh, I like fighting the same enemies over and over again. Yay, me! And that's cool. If you feel that, then I'm not going to knock you for it, but I am not really enjoying this right now. It's, I don't really understand why this game goes for so much money now, especially. It's not a great game. is the reason it's the black sheep of the family. It's got some great elements to it. I do like the digitized graphics. I think it gives it a good real-ish horror style vibe, and there is some good music here and there. There are some good graphical effects here and there, but the gameplay is severely lacking. It's not creepy at all after certain parts of the game. Only very specific, very minor parts of the game are actually creepy. Like 2% of the game is creepy. Of the 2% that is creepy, it's really cool, but for the most part, it's very monotonous. I actually recommend the 2010 Splatterhouse remake way more than Splatterhouse 3. That game's actually fun, for one. When it comes to the combat, there's a lot of different moves in that game. And as much crap as that game gets, it's a hell of a lot more fun than Splatterhouse 3. And I guess that's kind of, to me, a Splatterhouse beat-em-up done right, even though it still had major flaws as well. But God, man, Splatterhouse 3 has not aged gracefully. I liked the gameplay a lot when I was a kid, but I was a kid. Like, I didn't have 35 years of game experience behind me at that time. I had like 12, if that, you know. So, and I'm just not feeling this game right now. Maybe I'll revisit it down the road, not for another Let's Play, of course, but I'll probably play it on my own time again sometime in the future, probably on stream or something, which is actually the last time I played this game. It was on stream. Splatterhouse 3 is refreshing to go to after you play through Splatterhouses 1 and 2 back to back, and then you play part 3 and you're like, especially after playing Splatterhouse 2, because Splatterhouse 2 to me is nowhere near as good as the first Splatterhouse. It's kind of crap actually compared to the first Splatterhouse. Some people love that game, Splatterhouse 2, but it's to me it's really mundane compared to the first Splatterhouse, and Splatterhouse 3 as a result feels really refreshing after that, and maybe that's what the developers were feeling at the time of making this game, but they just failed on so many different levels with this game, with the repetitive enemy design, enemies doing stupid amounts of damage, especially when they have so much hit priority over you. Like, your fist will be halfway out and then they'll just override your attack completely, which again is typical in beat 'em up games. But with how fast the attacks come out of the enemies and how much life they take away, it's just completely unbalanced. And it's not fun, basically. It's the thing, it's just not fun. It's not really even a good challenge, because if I wanted to, I could literally just use the roundhouse kick over and over, which I chose not to in this Let's Play. I did start to abuse it a little bit towards the end of the game. But it's just, the gameplay system's not balanced. The enemy variety is boring. Like, okay, we saw these guys on the first or second level. Why are they on every single other level in the game? Like, why couldn't you just mix things up better? I mean, you had other phenomenal beat-em-ups prior to this to use as templates, and they chose not to, unfortunately. And then the game is just it's mediocre in the horror department. Like, there's a couple of great scenes, like the first boss, for instance, but the majority of the game is just boring to look at. Oh, here's a kitchen, here's a hallway, here's a staircase. Why is there a sewer in my basement? It's kind of retarded, actually. And, alright guys, well, I'm going to stop here. I'm done ranting. I'm sure some of you guys have already left long ago. If you're still here watching, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Negativity and all. I know some of you guys actually kind of like thrive on my negative Let's Plays. You're like, yes, rage, Austin! Rage! Throw your controller through your monitor and take a picture of it so we can see it, but we're not going to do that today. For one, I don't want to break these monitors. They're still new monitors. But two, not everybody likes the negativity. But if you enjoyed the Let's Play, that's cool. Like I said, I'm probably going to regret uploading this video. There's probably going to be a lot of thumbs downs, and people are going to be like, damn, this Let's Play sucked. And, it's all good, though. So again, if you enjoyed it, that's awesome. And thanks for watching. This was, again, this was an unexpected Let's Play. This was not planned. This was more or less like a special request from some individuals, and so the rest of my Let's Plays this month are planned. They're all scheduled out. I've got it all planned out day by day. Splatterhouse 3 was not planned though, which speaks for the quality of this video, I think. So, alright guys, well thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow actually with the Castlevania 3 dual play, side-by-side long play basically of the Japanese and North American versions of those games. And then a couple days after that, I think might be Wanpaku Graffiti. You'll see some Ghostbusters on the Master System, some Ghost House on the Master System, and a couple of other stuff. And I've got a few surprises up my sleeve towards the end of the month. So, but alright guys, take it easy. I'll see you in the next video, and yeah, take care.